Hello everyone, Korvoth here, and I finally gathered up all the pertinent DrillBeak data for your minds to feast upon. And I am so sorry about the wait between episodes. Lothrin's keeping me real busy with training and schooling and engineering practice and all the regular work that our archive of the heart stories requires. But I dug in and really put my all into this research, so I hope each and every one of you listens well, absorbs as much as they can, and has a real fun time. Okay, first things first. Why are they called DrillBeaks? It's very simple. These ships, dedicated fighters, have a long central point that protrudes out 4 meters from the cockpit. Along this beak, if you will, each half meter the front of the craft halves in diameter. This creates sharp angles that mimic a bird from old heart stories, a rather tenacious and feisty bird, known for being very defensive of its nesting territory and for being able to hammer its unique plated face through almost any material, including most boom metals. Keep that in mind. After the beak is the single-seat cockpit without living quarters, with Cam's custom-designed steering assist seat to feel even the smallest of inputs from a pilot's movements. A first for Terramore design. To either side of the pilot stretch 2 flat armored wings that bend forward like the javelin. The outer edges curl like the wings of a bird in mid-flight, each wing point reaching a half meter behind the beak. Behind the cockpit is only 1.5 meters or so of compact and heavily fortified engine compartments. 2 separate engines working off the same networked 4-core system, souped up with a resonant reactive dual-core primer to provide insane trike levels of speed for short 5-minute bursts. The back of the vessel looks like the bending rump of the aforementioned bird. A pair of exposed thrusters can even drift fully backward, giving the air of a DrillBeak snatching at prey while swooping gracefully. The dual self-shielding thrust-max engines end in small cones at the rearmost point of the craft, within a carrier, but in flight can extend and are adjustable to assist with maneuverings. Somehow, some way, Cam and the other Novir engineers fit a basic but stalwart Class 4 shield into this little devil, though the first production line only has Class 2 armor everywhere except around the engines. That is Class 3 deflective armor. Now, to the wondrous part. Sweet, spicy, destructive weapons, and at first glance in the field, a DrillBeak seems like it's lightly armed, but no. Cam, and as the records state, his sister Kath, worked long and hard to finally deliver on the failed javelin promise of a dedicated fighter that they both felt so much regret over and about. On each of the 2 tips of the wings are what Kath has dubbed regulating repeaters, appearing like feathers poking out of the tips of their wings. The flat, dark red feathers charge a 5-beam burst of lasers meant to cover between 1,000 and 3,000 meters, capable of penetrating both a Class 3 shield and Class 3 armor behind it. The weapon makes a high-pitched chirping noise similar to a DrillBeak mating call, so much so that cheeky pilots refer to the sound as flirting. Closer into the body of the craft is a single weapon that Kath claims full credit for the invention of. A spawner missile launcher. It fires a single missile or up to 5 of the compact devices in one loadout. The secret is that the missile flies out with the ship in a self-constructing compact form. After a shield-seeking missile is fired, the next one is then activated and builds itself into the firing position after sliding into place. Unfortunately, these contraptions in their first iteration are a bit finicky, and Kath, as well as other engineers, have to rework the design several times to get them to fire their entire payload without jamming up. These things do happen, and that's just how it works. But wait, you might say. Korvoth, didn't you remark on how deadly the DrillBeaks were? I did, in fact. And if you just calm down, I'll tell you about the most important weapon equipped on these tiny little Spitfires, okay? Alright, here we go. The beak itself is the weapon. A cascading Fisher laser cannon, to be precise. What does it do? Aside from being 10 times smaller than all other models of this particular armament, well, typically only frigates equip such weapons. But they take too long to charge, too much energy, and too much space compared to much more affordably constructed heavy laser bombardiers. But there is a man named Novir, and his name should not be forgotten. He figured out a way, mind that it is complex and difficult to reproduce, as in, no one else figures out how to do it for a very long time. To more efficiently design the inner workings of the cannon to both miniaturize and squeeze out every last drop of energy potential out of the charge RAM, which is the inner function of it. Thus, the charging takes only 10 minutes or so, which is a considerably small amount of time, even on a frigate. That's much quicker. So this angry little fighter can lob a round that can punch through Class 10 shields and armor, and probably come out the other side of whatever it struck. Quite a weapon indeed. And yes, there is a downside. The DrillBeak in question, having fired its cascading Fisher laser cannon, is dead in the water for a solid 2 minutes afterwards, and that's if it's lucky. If the DrillBeak hasn't gone belly up, which is slang for total control mechanism burnout, which either makes the ship parts for another DrillBeak, or in rare cases resurrectable by a complete rewiring of all internal systems. So the cascading Fisher laser is not to be used unless in the presence of other wingmates to tow your ship out of the line of fire, or in the most dire circumstances. But that being said, when the Sildarum start encountering these ornery little devils, they sure do make it a point to run away if the field of combat is overrun with DrillBeaks. Aside from that, at the last minute, Estoc and his boys came up with the lasso, the tow system I mentioned previously, a type of fortified, stabilized thread that is self-seeking adhesive, meaning that you can shoot it around another small craft. And it takes a lot of skill to do, and the rope will then wrap around the other ship and connect to itself, creating a secure, seamless connection. This is the method DrillBeak pilots, who often call themselves wranglers, use to collect the stymied ships of their brethren. Of a side note, almost without exception, DrillBeak pilots, once they get their wings, meaning to get the feel of their individually assigned craft, another slang term they invented, paint their ships to look even more like the nasty, angry, oftentimes downright pissed off territorial birds that the craft already so resembles. And they call that process hatching a goose for some reason. There's actually a wealth of terms, almost a pseudo-language unto itself, that DrillBeak wranglers banter and chatter with among their own kind. But that's a different video, though. I'm a little tired, and Lothrin is giving me the please go to bed eyes. That's what those are. Yep. Oh, a little tired. Okay, so that is it for the second episode of Novir Shipyard. I had an amazing time, and I hope you have as well. I put a ton of work into this video, and it would mean the entire world to me if you put a teeny tiny little insignificant comment, just one, down below. Oh, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, I'm so sleepy. I gotta go to bed soon. Okay, see you again next time. Good night and good luck. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.